Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to this commissioned series on Wolvenreign. We're reading Chapter 3 of Magic and Dust by Zalrok C. Soul Death. This series is a crossover between RWBY and the Elder Scrolls. So with that being said, let's get right into it. I wasn't having what most would consider a good day. I had learned of my sister's blatant betrayal of the White Fang and subsequent run to the city not more than 2 hours prior. It's not as though we hadn't discussed this option. Far from it, in fact. We had planned to escape together, sneaking out in the middle of the night with whatever intel we could grab beforehand. This compliments matters, I sighed. Contingency plan B it is, then. I quickly packed what I could into my small backpack: clothes, ammunition, some small personal items, and a leather pouch containing a handful of lion. Clipping my weapon, Crimson Executioner, to my belt, I ran through a mental checklist. Satisfied that I had all that I needed, I donned a dark hoodie, slipping it over my head, the soft fabric tugging slightly at my straight black hair. I felt the familiar voice of the Night Mother enter my mind.
"The time has come, my child. The moon hangs high in the sky. You know what you must do."
Her words slithered around my mind like snakes. I exited my room, watching for signs of unwelcome guests, before making my way to the room where Adam's second-in-command slept. I did not know why I was being so cautious. My position as an enforcer in the White Fang gave me certain advantages against many of the other members, like being able to wander around at night without question. I thanked Sithis for my inboard night vision in the dim lighting outside the man's door. All I needed to do was grab a set of files on our movements and plans for the future, then get out of Dodge. The lieutenant sleeping within did not concern me, nor did any of the other guards I was likely to encounter, if any, on my way out. The 3 people I was worried about were the humans who had offered their support recently. My instincts in training as a member of the long-defunct Dark Brotherhood told me not to trust that they had failed, apparently being thwarted by some girl and a huntress. I unsheathed my combination rifle and sword as the door swung open slowly. The sound of snoring echoed off the walls of the tent as I snuck in. My golden eyes scanned the darkness, looking for the desk where the intel was being held. It didn't take long for me to locate my target, the polished wooden surface shimmering in the low light coming through a window. I had just taken the files when I heard, "Hello? Is someone there?" come quietly from the bed. He was barely awake, but if I did not act quickly, he would regain his senses and call for the guards. The only reply the lieutenant received was a silenced rifle slug entering his frontal lobe, silencing him permanently. He wouldn't be missed. I snuck out of the tent and made my way across the camp to the forest as silently as I could, finding the cache that my sister and I had made together in the forest. Digging it up and taking the buried supplies, an alarm rang out into the night. They had found the body. I needed to move. Stealthily running as fast as possible to escape any pursuers. Hearing movement from up ahead, I laid down prone, using my ears and night vision to locate the source of the noise. There in front of me, a few meters away, was the boy from the human trio. Normally I would have loved to put him in the ground, but I really didn't need the attention right now. Seeing him stumble around in the dark gave me an idea. I silently set a simple trap, knowing that someone would step on it and set it off in the dark. I crept away, listening. There suddenly rang out a scream as the poor sap was left hanging from a tree by their foot. Thanks for being a distraction, idiot, I thought with a quiet chuckle. Quickly and quietly leaving the forest, I managed to evade my pursuers. I rested atop a rock next to a quiet country road. I tensed as I saw a pair of headlights coming towards me. I was too tired to hide at this point. It was late and I was exhausted. The vehicle stopped in front of me, pulling off the road slightly. Reaching around behind me for a Crimson Executioner, I looked up to see a man walk towards me. "Hey now, I don't want trouble." The smell of alcohol clouded the air as he spoke to me, but his eyes betrayed his intelligence. It shone through them like stars through telescopes. "Name's Crow. Ozpin told me to find you," he said, slurring his speech slightly. As he walked back towards the car, he turned and called back over his shoulder, "Oh, and Blake made it to Beacon." This got my attention. Throwing my bag in the back seat, I settled into the front passenger seat. It wasn't long before I drifted off to sleep as we headed for Vale. She spoke to me again as I I gently lost consciousness.
Hear me well, listener. This man Crow carries you towards your destiny. Something is amiss on Nirn. Help the hunters of the Remnant restore the balance in the name of Sithis. May the Dark Lord protect you, my child.
I awoke in a soft bed in a bland room. Sunlight streamed in through a nearby window, and I was vaguely aware of someone speaking to me. I turned my eyes to the source of the voice, finding a kind and wise-looking man with gray hair looking at me past the glasses on the end of his nose. A blonde woman stood near him, and at my side on the bed was Blake, a worried and sad expression on her face. I could tell she was feeling sorry for abandoning me, her brother. I flashed a smile that spoke of understanding and of forgiving her. She had an opportunity to escape and took it. It's what I would have done in her shoes. Glad to see you awake, young man. Your sister has told me much, mainly how you are a very capable, if slightly immoral person. I made no comment on this. His words were true, and there was little I could say to defend myself. The past few years had been hard for both of us. Your sister insisted you come with her to my school. Having met you, I think that's a very good idea. I'd be happy to have you if you'd like. We can never have too many students in Beacon, especially those gifted in the art of war. Looking at him with confused eyes, I asked him a question. Why do you want me in your school when I am so abhorrent to you? When I have killed people to protect myself and my sister? Ozpin sighed and smiled. You answered your own question. You took the lives of others to defend yourselves. I cannot fault you there. If that answer doesn't suit you, then it's because I can understand what you two have gone through. And sooner or later, I'll need someone like you on my side. Nodding slowly, I gave my reply. Thank you, Headmaster. I accept your offer.